As American audiences, we all know the common stereotypes of Russians on the big screen. They always seem to be the bad guys, the villains. However, we never seem to question these depictions, or where they come from. So, let's establish the main archetypal stereotypes of Russian characters in Hollywood movies, and then explore where they come from. Most of the time, Russian characters are cast as one of three main types of antagonists. The first being hostile spies. The second being as terrorists, or dangerous renegades. Or a lot of the times, they're depicted as scary gangsters, mobsters, or criminals, as shown here.
I make the offers. Hey, Boris. What would you do if I told you your pinko commie mother sucked so much dick, her...
And also, here.
Boris, you're my brother, so think like my brother. Get somebody else to steal that fucking stone. I just don't want it getting back to me. And don't you have him killed, Boris. It will raise suspicion. So don't use idiots for the job. He's gonna stay in London only for a couple of days before he goes to New York. So move quick, okay?
Да, я понимаю.
One more thing.
Oh, and did I mention drinking? Because according to Hollywood and virtually every other stereotype, Russians love to drink. Most of the time, this stereotype is used for comedic effect and used to portray Russians as drunkards.
I've done as you asked. Be careful, Mr. President. I think he is drunk.
Hello? Hello, Dmitri.
I was hoping Major General Dmitri Volkov would open a lot of armory doors in a lot of military bases. For a start, he was family. He was a highly decorated hero of the Red Army, and he was almost permanently shit-faced.
Interestingly enough, no matter what their antagonistic role, Russian characters in our movies always seem to be causing harm to the United States or Americans in some way. Whether it's a Soviet invasion in Red Dawn, or secret sleeper agents trying to subvert the American government in the Manchurian Candidate. Or even in boxing, like in Rocky IV when Ivan Drago kills Apollo.
Knockdown, you go to the corner I tell you to, and you stay there until I tell you to come out. Shake hands, let's have a good fight.
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man. You need an interpreter? It's time to go to school. Put your damn down!
So, after seeing some of these stereotypes, the real question becomes, where did they come from? Well, the answer is in our history. After World War II, the dangerous era of the Cold War took hold, leading to the Red Scare in the United States. As our government warned America of the Red Menace and painted the Soviet Union as our arch nemesis and an evil empire, our society came to see Russians as the enemy. Our film culture quickly came to follow the same narrative, and we quickly came to accept Russians as the bad guys, regardless of the role, both on and off the screen. Even after the fall of the USSR and communism, Russians are still viewed in a negative, even threatening light by Hollywood. Despite the threat of communist supremacy and war with Russia having been largely lost, this fear obviously still lingers in the American psyche. Therefore, our stereotypes of Russians really seem to reflect more of our own fears as a nation and society than any Russian danger or ideology. To conclude, I would implore Hollywood to move away from these alienating and often demeaning Russian stereotypes. By representing Russian characters with more depth and like actual people, we can finally move away from the Cold War mindset and into the future.